National Electrical Code Article 334.10 specifically addresses the permitted and prohibited uses of Type NM cable. According to this section, Type NM cable is not permitted to be installed in commercial or industrial buildings. This restriction is primarily based on the fire-resistant construction requirements of these building types. Buildings classified as Type I and Type Roman II construction are generally required to have a higher level of fire resistance compared to residential buildings where NM cable is commonly used. Type I construction, as defined by the International Building Code, or IBC, is the most fire-resistive construction type. Building elements are of non-combustible materials such as concrete, steel, or masonry. Type Roman II construction also uses non-combustible materials but may allow for less fire resistance than Type I construction. The key difference between Type I and Type Roman II lies in the hourly fire resistance ratings assigned to building components like walls, columns, and floors. These ratings indicate how long a component can withstand a standard fire test before structural failure or fire spread. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, adopts these building classifications from the IBC to ensure that electrical wiring methods are appropriate for the fire risk associated with the building's construction. An NM cable, while suitable for residential applications, is not designed to withstand the high temperatures and prolonged fire exposure expected in Type I and Type Roman II buildings. The outer jacket of an NM cable is typically made of a plastic material that can melt or ignite under intense heat, potentially contributing to the spread of fire and the release of toxic fumes. Therefore, the NEC restricts its use in these buildings to maintain a higher level of fire safety. In commercial and industrial buildings of Type I and Type Roman II construction, alternative wiring methods are required. These methods include using conduit systems such as rigid metal conduit, intermediate metal conduit, or electrical metallic tubing, in conjunction with individual conductors that are rated for the specific environmental conditions. These conduit systems provide a protective pathway for the conductors, shielding them from physical damage and providing a degree of fire resistance. Another acceptable wiring method is the use of metal-clad cable, or MC cable, which has a metallic sheath that offers better protection against fire and mechanical damage compared to NM cable. MC cable is available with various jacket materials and conductor types to suit different applications and environmental conditions. When selecting wiring methods for Type I and Type Roman II buildings, it is essential to consult the NEC and local building codes to ensure compliance with all applicable requirements. Factors to consider include the type of occupancy, the presence of hazardous materials, the ambient temperature, and the potential for exposure to moisture or corrosive substances. The NEC provides detailed guidelines for selecting the appropriate wiring methods based on these factors. Article 300 of the NEC contains general requirements for wiring methods and materials, while specific articles address the installation requirements for different types of wiring systems. For example, Article 344 covers the installation of rigid metal conduit, while Article 330 covers metal-clad cable. In addition to the wiring methods themselves, it is also important to select the correct conductor size and insulation type for the application. The NEC provides tables and guidelines for determining the ampacity of conductors based on their size, insulation type, and ambient temperature. The ampacity of a conductor is the maximum current it can carry continuously without exceeding its temperature rating. Selecting the correct conductor size is crucial to prevent overheating, voltage drop, and other electrical hazards. Furthermore, the insulation type of the conductor must be suitable for the environmental conditions in the building. Some insulation types are designed for dry locations, while others are suitable for wet or damp locations. Some insulation types are also resistant to chemicals, oil, or other corrosive substances. The NEC specifies the allowable uses of different insulation types in Article 310. When installing electrical wiring in Type I and Type Roman II buildings, it is also important to follow good workmanship practices. This includes properly supporting and securing the wiring, making neat and secure connections, and protecting the wiring from physical damage. The NEC provides guidelines for these practices in Article 110, which covers the general requirements for electrical installations. It is also important to test the electrical system after installation to ensure that it is functioning properly and safely. Testing procedures may include insulation resistance testing, continuity testing, and voltage testing. These tests can help identify potential problems such as short circuits, ground faults, and open circuits. In summary, the NEC prohibits the use of NM cable in commercial and industrial buildings of Type I and Type Roman II construction due to the fire-resistant construction requirements of these building types. Alternative wiring methods such as conduit systems and metal-clad cable are required to provide a higher level of fire safety. When selecting wiring methods, it is important to consult the NEC and local building codes to ensure compliance with all applicable requirements. Factors to consider include the type of occupancy, the presence of hazardous materials, the ambient temperature, and the potential for exposure to moisture or corrosive substances. It is also important to select the correct conductor size and insulation type for the application and to follow good workmanship practices during installation. Proper testing of the electrical system after installation is essential to ensure that it is functioning properly and safely. To further elaborate on the requirements, one should understand the implications of using appropriate wiring methods in Type I and Type Roman II buildings. Firstly, the selection of appropriate wiring methods greatly enhances fire safety. By restricting the use of NM cable, which is more susceptible to fire damage, the code aims to minimize the risk of fire spread and ensure that the building's electrical systems do not contribute to a fire hazard. Secondly, compliance with NEC regulations protects property and occupants. The NEC standards are designed to safeguard lives and property by ensuring electrical systems are installed and maintained to a high level of safety. Thirdly, using approved wiring methods ensures long-term reliability. Conduit systems and metal-clad cables offer superior protection against physical damage and environmental factors, which can extend the lifespan of electrical installations and reduce the need for frequent repairs. Fourthly, adherence to the NEC prevents code violations and legal liabilities. Non-compliance can lead to fines, project delays, and potential legal consequences in the event of an electrical incident. Fifthly, appropriate wiring methods maintain insurance coverage. Insurance companies often require compliance with the NEC as a condition of coverage, ensuring that electrical systems meet industry standards. The choice of wiring methods should also take into account the specific environmental conditions within the building. For example, in areas with high humidity or exposure to corrosive substances, wiring methods with appropriate moisture and corrosion resistance are essential. The NEC provides guidance on selecting wiring methods for different environmental conditions in Article 300.6, which covers protection against corrosive environments. In addition to fire resistance and environmental protection, the mechanical protection offered by different wiring methods should also be considered. In areas where the wiring is likely to be subjected to physical damage, such as in industrial facilities or storage areas, conduit systems or metal-clad cables are preferred. These wiring methods offer superior protection against impacts, abrasion, and other forms of mechanical damage. The NEC provides guidelines on the minimum requirements for mechanical protection in Article 300.4, which covers protection against physical damage. Furthermore, the ease of installation and maintenance should also be considered when selecting wiring methods. Conduit systems can be more labor-intensive to install compared to NM cable, but they offer greater flexibility for future modifications and repairs. Metal-clad cable offers a compromise between ease of installation and mechanical protection. The NEC provides guidelines on the proper installation and support of wiring methods in Article 300.11, which covers securing and supporting wiring. The selection of appropriate wiring methods for Type I and Type Roman II buildings is a critical aspect of electrical design and installation. By understanding the NEC requirements and considering the specific environmental and mechanical conditions within the building, electrical professionals can ensure that the electrical systems are safe, reliable, and compliant with all applicable codes and standards. The prohibition of NM cable in these building types underscores the importance of selecting wiring methods that are appropriate for the fire risk and environmental conditions of the building. Remember that local amendments to the NEC can also exist, so it's important to consult the local authority having jurisdiction, OJ, for any specific requirements in your area. This ensures that the electrical installation meets all applicable codes and standards.